In a world where power is not given, it's taken. Welcome to Stein's Strategic Solutions. We don't ask questions. We don't follow rules. We make the rules. With our expertise, we bring about the unseen, the forgotten, the dangerous. What you don't know, we know. What you fear, we control. We strike when least expected, shaping the future, bending it to our will. If you're not watching, we're watching you. Stein Strategic Solutions. Once you enter, there's no turning back.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Prime Time with Alex Stein. I'm your host, Alejandro Stein, and we have a great guest. This woman is an anti-abortion activist, but she's much more than that. She's a political prisoner that got pardoned by the one, the only 47th president of the United States, Donald Trump. Let's bring on Bevelyn Williams. Bevelyn, how are you doing?
I'm good. Listen, let me forewarn you guys, I have a little bit of a cold. You know, when you get out of prison and you like shift climates like that, you get a little sick. So please be patient with me, you guys.
Oh, don't even worry about it. Nobody in my chat, we call them chat rats. They're crazy. And, this is a comedy show, so it's not that big a deal. But Bevelyn, so tell me about this, about how you originally got arrested. So it was, interfering with access to an abortion? It's some weird law because there's people in London that prayed outside of an abortion clinic that got arrested. There's all kinds of stories where people do get arrested. But why was yours so unique where you actually had to serve jail time, 41 months?
Right. So they had indicted me on FACE, violation of freedom of access to clinic entrances. And technically what they indicted me on, the law was not created for that. It was made in 1994 under the Bill Clinton administration. It was really supposed to be for individuals who were going into these clinics, blowing them up, shooting them up, and causing like a physical threat. But what they did was they manipulated the verbiage to where it could say, oh, if they're threatening, verbally threatening, you can't really indict someone on a verbal threat. You're really supposed to get them on like physical threat because we have the freedom of speech. And so they found, and also the judge would not allow me to speak on the freedom of speech. My lawyer,
so they threw the Constitution out. You're telling me you couldn't argue that it was a freedom of speech issue just for your words, even though it was just words, because you never actually physically touched anybody or anything, right? I mean,
no.
But they tried to accuse you of blocking something. Is that that's what they were trying to get you on?
They were accusing me of being in front of a door and a woman's hand being caught in the door, and because I was on the door, it was my fault. But this,
and you get 41 months in jail, though.
I
mean, give me a freaking
crazy
break.
It's crazy, mind you. She didn't go to urgent care until 5 days later.
And that was when her attorney probably told her to anyway, or whatever, when they're figuring it out. But they look for these cases because they know that there's a lot of anti-abortion activists. So they try to send a message when they do this. And that you were just trying to be an example with the situation.
Right. Exactly. So they made one. I mean, 41 months was harsh. I did 3, and I'm going to be honest with you. 3 months, man, prison is crazy. So for me to be away from my daughter for that long, it was very traumatizing. I had to be strip searched. I had to be like locked in a room.
Eat ramen noodle burritos? Did y'all eat ramen noodle? I mean, what was the food like?
Well, commissary is everything, okay? But no, I didn't eat ramen noodle burritos. They gave you flat wraps to make your own burritos. But listen, you cook with an iron. So they got these cooking irons that they hide, and it's like an iron, like that you iron your clothes with, but you cook with it. You fry stuff on it. I was cooking with the cooking iron, okay?
Wow.
Yes, I was making flat wraps. I was making pizza rolls. I was cooking.
Why'd you cook the pizza rolls? So you tell me this. So in the commissary, they have pizza rolls. You just lay the iron on top of it, and it would get crispy enough where it'd be. Wouldn't it not get so flat?
You use mayonnaise. Use mayonnaise so that the iron don't stick to the wrap and it can crisp it up.
Oh yeah, it's like butter, but instead you use the mayonnaise. Everybody figures it out. And I want to get into the serious stuff, and we don't have to keep talking about the prison. But that show Orange Is the New Black. Obviously, a women's prison is tough. But what was the women's prison like that you think is different than the stereotypes that we see on TV and stuff? Like what was real and fake?
Well, you're not getting raped. in prison. Not by no
Yeah.
females. That's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
You're not getting you might get into a fight,
Yeah.
but for the most part, like as long as you're only gonna get into stuff in prison if you do too much. If you got a drug addiction in prison and you start creating bills, you're gonna have a problem in prison. If you are messy and into people's business and drama, you're gonna have a problem in prison. But if you mind your business and you are financially stable and your family sends you what you need and you can go get your commissary and mind your business, you're not gonna get any issues in prison. But things like a phone, when you waiting on the phone line, it really can become a fight because it's 8 phones in the pod.
Yeah.
You got at least 70, 80 girls, 120 girls in each pod. So now they all gotta wait online to use this phone. You know what I mean? So if somebody skips the line, yeah, it might be a fight. So you gotta be able to hold your own. People will try to bully you.
Yeah.
I had a girl try that with me with the TV. It's a crazy story, actually. I can tell you. She tried
Yeah,
to
well, I
bully
want to
me.
hear about this. Before you tell the story, did they know that you were anti-abortion activist? Did they even care? Did any of that matter?
Some of
When you're
them
into,
no, but they didn't really care.
they
I
didn't
mean,
care. But they
no.
probably didn't like
And
abortion. I feel like a lot of people don't like abortion. It's this weird political
right.
thing. They just feel like it's just, oh, we all agree that abortion is good. It's so sick at that Kamala Harris rally I went to. Everything, like every sign, reproductive rights, access to abortion. Like, I mean, they spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on signs for this event,
To
and
kill
every
kids.
sign mentioned abortion. I'm like, this is the number one key issue. So okay, in prison they didn't care about that. But tell me the story about how this happened, and then I want to get into the pardon and everything. But yeah, well, how did this
Right.
woman try to punk you?
So in prison, right? When they don't know you, they seem to want to test you. Why? I don't know, but the girls just want to test you out to see what they can do. So there was this one girl there. She's an orderly. Orderlies are people who clean the unit. They're the ones who basically are in charge of keeping the unit intact, and they get a pay to do so. I didn't work as an orderly because I didn't need the money. You know what I'm saying? So, this girl, when she would talk, she would kind of talk at you. Like she don't talk to you. She would talk like at you. And so she was someone I didn't care for. So I would ignore her most of the time. So now we got like 8 TVs in the unit, and we all got to share these TVs. And so me and
And
my
she's an
friends was
orderly,
just
so she feels like she's more
she
entitled
can
than
run
you.
it. She
Yeah,
can
yeah,
run the
yeah.
place. That's exactly right. You feel like she can run it. So I'm hanging out, mind you, the J6ers and the pro-lifers, we all stuck together. It was 2 J6ers in there plus me, so we all like stuck together because we
Whoa, Bevelyn, see that's bombshell information. So you're with 2 J6ers, and you guys kind
right,
of teamed up. You guys had your own
right,
freedom gang in there, kind
right,
of a little bit. That's
right.
who
We
are
had
those
our
two
little
people?
crew.
What did
We
they
had
get
our
arrested
crew.
for? What they
Right.
do? Just walk into the Capitol?
Yeah, they just walked in the Capitol. One of them had been an NYPD officer for 9 years. One was a freaking music teacher.
Well, you tell
And
me
they
an
had
ex-cop? They did that to an ex-cop, a
to an
woman
ex-cop.
ex-cop that could have got
They
shot
did.
on every day that she went out there and put on a
Who was
uniform.
a first responder for 9/11.
Oh, I read about this woman. That's sick. These
Sarah
people.
Carpenter.
Yeah, Sarah Carpenter. That's sick. Well, now she's out. Thank
She's
God.
out. So
But
we were
okay, so
locked up together, and we ended up staying in the same unit. And then when I was pardoned, I stayed in the unit with Audrey Southard, who was also she got 6 years. She did 16 months in prison. No, 18 months, and Sarah did like 11 months in prison.
and was it a
So
camp or what do you mean? Like when you say
no, it
like
was a federal prison. Like it was a
so federal?
facility.
Yeah, but like so, how does that work? Were you like in a cell with just one other woman, or what is it?
Right.
Oh
When
wow.
you're a camp, they don't have cell doors. Like when you're
Mhm.
locked down, you still have access to phones and you can call your family. You can call, you can get on the computer and make an email.
It's just less
In
restrictive, right? The camp is just
yes, it's
yeah,
less
yeah,
restrictive. In
yeah.
a federal FIC, oh my God, they can lock you in a room for 3 days and that's just it. And break
Did you ever
and
go
give
to
you
the
keys
hole?
to a door.
Did you ever go to the hole?
I didn't go to the hole. Sarah did. Sarah went to the hole and Audrey went to the hole. I never went to the hole, thank God. I wasn't going to the
Wow.
hole. That was no, that's too far. To be furthermore locked up, then locked up? Hell
That's
no.
bad. That's
That's too
bad.
far. So the hole, no, no, no. On top of that, when you go to the hole, you lose all like you gather contraband. While you in prison, like you supposed to have one mattress. I had 3. If I would have went to the hole, they would have took my 2 extra mattresses and I would have been back where I'm starting with my spine hurting. So those things, like, you don't want to go to the hole because you're gonna lose those things. You know what I'm saying? Clothes.
Hey, well,
shoes.
Bevelyn, in a way, is prison. I know it's a horrible thing. I'm so happy you're out, but it does make you appreciate the little things a little bit.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, you know, that is
Yes.
kind of that is kind of why it is. I mean, it's horrible. Our prison system's so corrupt, and I do believe our judicial system is actually racist. I know that's not a popular conservative thing, but I feel like Black people, even charged with the same crime as white people, statistically get longer sentences. And a lot of people say it's socioeconomic, but I think it's a little bit more than that.
Right.
And like these district attorneys are predatory and stuff, and a lot of those people are liberal. A lot of the liberal ones don't care about putting Black people in jail.
Right. A liberal is the most racist, though.
Yeah.
Everybody knows a liberal is the most racist you'll ever meet. They're the worst.
So a prison, like, it should be, if somebody has a serious crime, they go there for a little bit and then they realize how bad it is. You're supposed to get appreciation. But our recidivism rate, where people don't learn anything, where people almost want to go there because they get so institutionalized they can't even operate outside of it, where they can make money in there selling drugs or whatever. So we have a really bad private prison industry. I know you're in the federal prison industry, but that's something that I wish Trump would really fix.
It's the same thing, though. Like, you people end up enjoying prison more because you make more money in prison.
Mm-hmm.
A card, let me show you a card of this size card of K2. That, mind you, it's on a sheet of paper, like an 8 by 10.
I thought K2 is weed. I thought K2 is weed.
No, K2 is like it's paper with like chemicals in it, and you smoke it, and it makes these girls hallucinate, and it make them be like zombies.
So those videos I see on TikTok where the guys are like, you know, because you see slumped over outside of jails, but I've seen ones in prisons where the guy's like, oh, they're geeking, and the guys can't even talk. They're like,
right. That's K2. That's K2. So now this size card in prison is gonna cost you about $400, $400 or $500. Okay, could you imagine this coming out of an 8 by 10? That's it. One sheet of K2. You're gonna make at least $1,500 off of it, maybe $1,000. Right? So no, way more than $1,000.
More than that.
You're gonna make at least 6. I mean,
but isn't the guard going to make most of it?
$3,000.
But Bevelyn, don't the guards make a lot of it though? Don't you have to pay off the guards, or is that not true? People get in on their own.
Yeah, I mean, the guards. First of all, they say, oh, drones are the reason why all of this stuff is in here, but no, ain't enough drones in the world. The guards are making you're only getting paid a $44,000 salary, okay? And one of these costs $500, and you can get it cash, no tax.
Yeah, and people pay $100. Bevelyn, they pay $100 for a Big Mac in some jails. You know what I mean? You know why?
Right. That's a fact. They pay for a cell phone. They willing to pay $6,000. They willing to pay $4,000, for a cell phone. A cell phone that costs $500, you're gonna get a $3,500 profit. Of course, you're gonna get that cell phone. Of course. Yeah. So. Prison is a trip. Prison has a lot of corruption. But back to the orderly. Yeah. So I was watching TV, and me and my friend Sarah Carpenter was watching TV, and the girl came up and was like, well, what time is your show over? And I kind of ignored her because I don't like the way she talks. But Sarah responded, and Sarah's like, oh, well, what does it matter? Like, we're just watching our shows, whatever. The girl says, well, I'm watching a show at 9:00. I'm watching my show at 9. So she was basically telling us that she's going to watch her show at 9. So now I took my headphones off, and her and Sarah kind of going back and forth. And then I stop and I look and I say, who do you think you are? You think you're going to sit and tell me, a grown woman, that you're going to watch TV at 9:00? I'm going to tell you something right now. You touch that remote, I promise you every TV in here be shut down. She's like, oh, well, I nothing. First of all, when you come and you talk to me with some respect. Don't come to me and talk to me talking at me. I'm a grown woman. You ask me if you want to watch the TV, and maybe I'll consider it. And so then after that, she apologized. But what blew my mind about prison was this. A lot of the girls in there, like, she came with a lot of spiciness and a lot of sauce, but you didn't have the balls to back it up. So it's like, for all of that, just be respectful from the beginning. Why even bring the spice with it if you can't back it up? I'm not a violent person, but I am a trained boxer. That's what I've done.
You would kick ass.
I'm not beat up by nobody.
Yeah, but Bevelyn, you know what that is a little bit though, is because she is meek. You are a real person. You're a real activist, and that takes a lot of guts to actually go to these places, the awkward situations that you put yourself in. That is not pleasant, very unpleasant. And yeah, you get an adrenaline rush from it and stuff. Like, there is. You feel good after like doing political activism for sure, but it's stressful. It's tense and it takes a lot of courage. And most of these women don't have it, but I'm guessing that's just a defense mechanism, right? You kind of have to act like you're tough just so you don't look like a mark.
Right. And then you're not about it.
Yeah,
So just be easy.
Most people aren't about it, though, right, Bevelyn? Most people don't want to fight, I would feel like.
I'm a very nice person. If I'm going to be an activist, it's because there's an issue to address. But for the most part, people will tell you all the time, I'm so polite, I'm so respectful. But don't try it, okay? Just don't. Because why we even got to go there? And that's how in prison, too, because I was Christian and because I would talk to people, I would say, thank you. Yes, ma'am. Good morning. A lot of the girls in there lack basic manners. They lack basic, like knowing how to just say hello in the morning, knowing how to just say thank you when you're giving something. Like everything had to be like this hard demeanor. But then when you kind of talk to the girls, you realize they're soft. They're freaking out because they're in prison. And it's like, these girls need Jesus. These girls need prayer. Yeah. These girls need love. But at the same time, they need to be checked too when they overstep their boundaries.
You're right. You're right. And I want to ask two more questions. The first one is, and then, well, I guess it's a quick one. I don't know how much you want to get into it, but was your daughter able to at least come see you for those 3 months, or did you not want to show her that? You did have her come?
So she came one time. She did a weekend. My husband had brought her for a weekend. He had got approved for visitation late December. So my husband had came the first week of January to come and see me with Eleanor. It was kind of hard because the vending machines were empty, right? And you can't bring food in when you're doing visitation. So they had to bring us food from the cafeteria, but unfortunately the visitors didn't have food. So Eleanor, obviously, she doesn't even eat packaged food anyway. So
she's a kid, right? She wants candy. She wants something. I mean, give her chips. I mean, come on.
So I tried to share my food with her. And the first day they let me, but then the second day when they gave me my food, they told me I couldn't share it with her. And that crushed me.
Wait, time out though. So you're in there. How many hours you get? Like 5, 8 hours? I mean, how many?
We're there from like 8 a.m. to 2. 8 a.m. to 3. Excuse me.
You get just an afternoon. You get 2 days with your daughter, and because you gave her some of your food from the cafeteria, they shut that down.
They basically told me no, you can't give her food, or they would shut my visitation down. I couldn't share my food with my 2-year-old daughter, my apple, and she loves apples. So that was hard for me. I cried that day.
And it was a hard thing to have your daughter come see that, but I think that was very important so that she can kind of learn like what you really went through and how you really were a political prisoner. Because if she didn't see that, she might not have known how hard it was. And obviously your daughter should have been able to get some chips, sandwiches, soda, but in a way of it being bad, it's kind of like you kind of scared her straight. Remember that show, Scared Her Straight? No, I swear. I know. I'm just saying it's kind of, she sees that. It is a good thing to be like,
she's 2.
Well, she's probably not going to remember, but I'm just saying a little kid that's not, people say they don't want to bring their kids because my family's in the bail bond business, deal with a lot of, criminals and all people that have been arrested and this and that. It is hard with your family on the outside. You want to see them so bad, but when they come there, they got to be all these rules and get basically they got to go. It's just a tough situation. But I think it is important that for your mental health. Yeah, and you didn't know for sure the pardon was going to come through. No, I know a lot of people. Right when you got arrested, they started that like crazy. I remember the social media campaign that you need to be pardoned, and that was when Joe Biden was obviously in office, but. Were you sweating bullets? Did you think that you were, because if Trump didn't win, you don't get a pardon at all, right?
Oh my gosh. First of all, if Trump didn't win, I would have had to do my full time in prison, but I would have been re-indicted.
What do you mean? On the same charge?
No, they would have found something else. These people are vicious. Come on. First of all, if Trump didn't win, Trump would have had to leave the country. They would have tried to kill him.
They're still going to, sadly, probably.
They're still trying, but I'm saying
I don't think they will now that he's in office. But I'm just saying that these people they're not going to stop at anything.
They don't stop. They don't stop. They are vicious. They don't stop. They're like seething out the mouth animals who can't stop. And so when Trump won, I mean, for me, really, it's probably TMI, but I'm gonna be honest. I was so I was physically, not mentally, but because I tricked my mind out to be calm, but my body was still reacting. Like my body was traumatized that I left. My family was in prison. So I had just gotten off my cycle, ended up starting it back again. And I had it for 3 weeks straight until election.
Your hormones were that out of whack. You're that out of whack.
Wow. It literally stopped after November 5th. Like my body, mind you,
I'm not a doctor, but that's wild. That's
right.
wild.
I got locked up. I surrendered October 16th. So from October 16th to November 5th, I was on my cycle until I saw that he won. That's how much my body was freaking out. Like he had to win.
Well, who got in contact with Trump? Who got in contact with his people? Obviously, he's aware of you. He's very dialed in. He's got a good team. But like, how did you get on his radar? How did this facilitate? How did this all happen?
Man, I don't know. I can't even point to one person. When I say so many people were reaching out to Trump on my behalf, first of all, I'm close friends with Dinesh D'Souza. He is
Huge
like a
friends.
dad to me. So
Great
he
guy.
obviously was the first one to get the ball rolling. And then from there it was just everybody else was just jumping in. Like the more they heard about the case, the more they were like, nah, she has to get pardoned. So by time, and I think one of the judge, Mike Davis, he was fighting for me. There's another guy, I forgot his name, but he's the one who made sure solidified the pardons. But there were people from all over the country trying to get to him to make sure. I was on like 10 people's list for pardons. I was on like 10 different people's lists.
You were, everybody knew about it. I mean, it was a huge story, and you going to jail. It's kind of this weird feeling that you're happy as an activist that you're actually, bringing awareness to this thing, but then you're going to jail and not knowing your fate. It has to make you absolutely ill. So, what's next for you now that you're out? I know you got to spend time with your family, but are you going to get right back into activism? Are you going to feel like, what are you thinking about doing? Obviously, you need to go do a lot of interviews and stuff, but like,
right. I feel like the interviews alone is kind of where it's at. This is the thing. The activism was necessary, but you got to understand, we were dealing with the summer of love. We were dealing with Governor Cuomo legalizing abortion up to 9 months in 2019. We were dealing with a real revolutionary time.
It was different then. It was different. The world was weird. Everybody wanted something to happen. It was crazy. The world was weird.
So I met that energy when I had to for that time. We're not in that season right now. A lot of people who didn't support Trump then are now more receptive of his campaign, more receptive of who he is. I have cousins who were never Trumpers that are now supporting Trump. And like, dang, girl, now I get it. So I'm in the season of reasoning. I'm in the season of having a conversation. I'm willing to be that voice of reason, and I feel like people are willing to hear me because I lived it, I experienced it, and I'm proof that he's not a racist. I'm proof that he is for this nation and for justice. So yeah, I want to take more of an advocacy route, but if ever the communists want to pop their head, then we can go there. But for the most part, right now I just feel like I'm in the season of advocating.
Yes, and you need to keep doing that. You don't need to go get in people's faces. I mean, eventually, you need to go do some protests or something like this, but chill out for right now and just kind of, I guess, now you, like you said, now that's going on 5 years ago. It was a while, so you probably haven't done any activism since then. But I think the biggest thing you can do is doing these interviews and talking to people and start talking about this issue. So why is it important to you, though, Bevelyn, as a Black woman, to be pro-abortion? Because most Black women, statistically, they try to say, and this is my experience, most Black women that I know, and I have Black women that are friends, they don't get abortions. In their families, it's not okay to get an abortion. It's a never thing. But sometimes they'll get an abortion on their second kid because they don't want to have it when they get the second kid, because then they kind of get hung up. So it's usually people, I know Black women that have had an abortion that are anti-abortion. I mean, I guess they're not really that anti-abortion, but they know what they did are wrong. So why is this so important? And why is every Planned Parenthood in an urban community, in your opinion, Bevelyn?
Well, abortion is genocide, but especially Black genocide. We take up a really big margin of the abortions committed in this nation. Black women, let me tell you how real it is. When I would go to an abortion clinic and they didn't know me to go and preach, do you know by the time I would go in front to start preaching or stand on the sidewalk, the escorts would be opening the door for me automatically because I was Black. I'm an anticipated customer. Black women don't realize how much we play a humongous part in supporting our own demise. The Democrat Party has worked frivolously to make sure that we are just rocked to sleep. They hail us and then they nail us. When you support abortion, you support the murder of your own people. And even if you don't support it and you turn around and do it because you're scared, you're killing your own kid. Now, have I committed abortions too? Yeah, I had 3. But let's just call a spade a spade. You're killing your own biological child for the sake of inconvenience. What
Yeah.
makes you different from the girl that's locked up for murdering her 3-year-old? What makes you different?
It's not
I'm
that
sorry.
different.
It's not much difference. But now what? Because the government facilitates these buildings and these laws to make it okay, it's okay? No, it's not okay. And we're killing our own people. Mind you, we already saw what happened with the Democrat Party. They were using the immigrants to replace us. They were
Yeah.
done with us. So we are killing our population numbers. We're down to 12% and we're going lower, right? And on top of that, we're not reproducing the way we should to be properly a part of the American nation that we helped build.
Yes.
So we have to shift our paradigm culturally. The Black community has suffered from improper culture. We've allowed excuse me, the Democrat Party to come in through Lyndon Baines Johnson, through the civil rights movement, and really destroy a culture of elegance that we worked so hard to get. So I'm willing to be that voice of reason to bring that back, because it's not benefiting the Black community to kill your children. It's not and then on top of that, let me tell you this: the ones who support abortion are the same ones who will lock you up. Y'all be so quick to say, yeah, but her body, her choice, let her kill her baby. But now she don't kill her baby. Now she's suffering from manic depression. She on drugs. Now she's stealing for drugs. She's scamming. She doing all of this stuff because she done had a heartbreak and she don't know
Mhm.
how to address it. And now, oh man, she done committed a crime, put her in jail. So we go from the abortion clinic to prison. It's the same, and mind you, in prison, they don't work to facilitate, they don't work to correct. So it's the same throwaway concept. When you don't want the baby, throw it away. When you don't want to deal with the person who's suffering from whatever traumatic issues they're dealing with, throw them away, and they go right in prison. So the whole culture has to shift.
Bevelyn, you said it well. People need to clip that. I mean, that was very, spot on in my opinion. The culture does need to change, but it's just kind of hard because we have such a degenerate culture, not just Black culture, white culture. It's like we're getting more degenerate, and I think you could say, is that Satan? Is that like the evilness in the world? But
Right.
I don't know. I don't know how we can start making the culture more positive. And that's why we all have a glass half empty outlook on life. Oh, I can't afford this kid. Oh, this is too much. Instead of being like, I can do this. It's hard. I don't know how are we going to change the culture? What do you think? I know you don't have the magic wand, but like, how do we shift that culture in your opinion, Bevelyn?
Well, I think we're starting right now with Trump is making some very extreme decisions.
Mm-hmm.
They're calling him a white supremacist and all that stuff like that, but I was talking to my hairstylist the other day, and she was talking about how like she's scared. She thinks it's about to go back to Jim Crow laws, this and the other, because Trump has cut the whole DEI program and all this stuff like that. And so I kind of broke it down to her, and I said, listen, what if Beyonce's hairstylist set up a shop right here in the middle of Chattanooga and hire all the best hairstylists, right? But they just happen to be white. But then he hires you because you're the tax cut.
Mm-hmm.
How would you feel? She was like, well, no, I would want to be there because I'm the best of the best. I said, exactly. We have allowed the laws that are implemented to make us lazy. And Black people are some of the most resilient
Mm-hmm.
perseverers ever. Really.
Of course.
And I say this all the time, like my his family's from Trinidad. And his cousin would be like ragging on how racist America is. And I'd be like, yo, bro, listen, let me explain something to you. You came up over here on a banana boat and you benefiting off of our privileges. No other country in this world, not even Africa, has the type of privileges that African Americans have. Y'all ran from y'all country. We stayed in ours. We fought, okay, to make a difference. So the last thing y'all gonna do is sit here and talk about how, so basically everything that Frederick E. Douglass did and Booker T. Washington did, it was for nothing. And what you basically can come to our country, benefit off of what we work for, and say, oh, well, it's not really finished yet. Let me just touch it up. How about you do that in your country? Why y'all keep running from y'all country coming over here? And then y'all want to look us in our face and tell us, oh, y'all are lazy, y'all are this, y'all are that, y'all need to do this, do that. Do it in your country. Stay in Trinidad. Why y'all coming over here? So no, is there a place where African Americans can persevere and push through? Hell yeah, they can. But when you have Democrat laws like war on poverty, welfare systems that hinder the father and the mother from being together, getting married, and establishing a proper American family, black or white, you have a problem. So no, what Trump is doing right now, he is shaking the black community up. You need to stop. First of all, let me just keep it above. Mm-hmm. Where I was locked up at, most of the people that worked in higher up positions was black. Okay? They the counselors in charge of, they got control of your full life. They could decide whether you get the full First Step Act year off and the 24 months on Second Chance Act that Bush put in. These people would be playing with your time left and right. You would think with all the black counselors in there, with all these black women locked up, that they would be doing everything in their power to help them, to get them out of prison. No, they would give them the minimal, play with their paperwork, do their paperwork last minute. Why? Because y'all house Negroes. Y'all DEI folk are house Negroes. Y'all get in because you black and you not qualified. And yet the black person who is qualified, who you think is better than you do everything in your power to keep them at bay because you want to make sure you top nigga for massa. That's a fact. So when everybody want to talk about, oh, well, DEI, they say, yeah, no, all of y'all house Negroes need to go, and now the qualified ones need to step up. That's what's happening. So what Trump is doing right now is putting the heat under the black community to step your game up, step your cookies up. You want to get mad at the white man because he started his business. He out here making his money, but they people looking out for each other. He doing what he got to do. And let me say something. I'm black, but most of my people that follow me are white, not because I'm black, but it's because of the cloth I'm cut from. I'm cut from that cloth of conservatism and righteousness and justice and family values. So I have the support that I need because I'm cut from that cloth. Y'all want to have that support, but then y'all want to be out here selfish and house Negroing. It don't work.
And you have the faith, and people recognize that. And I think that's what's so important is believing in God. And that's kind of the first step. And Bevelyn, you just crushed it. You said more than enough. I'd like to talk to you more, when we have some more time. And are you in Tennessee? Where are you now?
I'm in Tennessee.
Yeah.
I'm living in Tennessee now, but I'm willing to travel. People been reaching out to me.
Yeah, we need to have you come down. We need to have you come down to the Blaze. And I'd like to talk even for a longer.
I will pull up. Listen, I'm free. I'm free like I'm a star. I don't gotta call nobody, getting permission to go nowhere. I'm free. So
no probation officer, nothing. Is it so? But you got the pardon though. It's still does it not? Does it still stay on your record? How does that work? Isn't there another thing they can give you? What is it? Commuted or what's it? Commuted is if you're in jail. That just means you ended it. Does a pardon mean you were never arrested?
He gave me a full pardon. He gave me a full-on pardon. I'm free. No probation. Nothing. They can't talk to me about the case.
Yeah, but is it still on your record? Is it still on your record technically? It's off. The president,
it's technically on. If I want to travel to like Australia, I probably can't get it.
It's on somewhere. It's on some database, but it's not really on your record. Yeah, I get it. Because there's like multiple levels of records, and if you've ever been arrested for anything, even if you get it expunged, there's somebody somewhere that can see it in some sort of database. But Bevelyn, listen, I want to talk to you again soon. We can talk for even longer. Listen, you are a very brilliant person, and I'm not just kissing your derriere. I think we need more people that are passionate and courageous like yourself. And I know it was a terrible situation, but this that sometimes you got to turn, I don't mean to cuss, shit into sugar. And you can do that better than anybody. And that's just what we got to do. And so you're an inspiration, Bevelyn. And I want to talk to you again soon. So I'm going to be contacting you. So please answer. My producer, Jimmy's going to be contacting you. Guys, we're going to put a link to Bevelyn's Give, Send, Go in the description. Everybody needs to go support Bevelyn. And Bevelyn, how else can people support you and find you before you go?
Man, just look me up on atwellministries.org. And you guys, if you want to book me, you want me to come down, reach out to me if you need prayer. But yeah, Give, Send, Go, and just, check out my ministry website and share me with other people, and hopefully a pastor or someone else will want me to get involved and, help me get my voice out there, my voice of advocacy out there. That's big for me.
You're awesome. I mean, Bev, I hope and once we post these clips, I'm sure a lot of them are going to get views. You're going to get a lot more interview requests. You deserve it. And you just need to keep on doing what you're doing. Do not stop. And the chat loves you. I love our top chat rat, Morgan. She says, thank you, Alex and Bevelyn, for this interview. She loves you. Everybody loves you. You're a superstar in the making. You're a hero. It sucks that bad stuff happened, but in a way, we can find the silver lining that it was good and you've come out of it stronger.
Right. Thank you. God
Thanks,
bless you
Bev.
guys.
Talk to you guys
Bye.
soon. All right, peace.
In a world where power is not given, it's taken. Welcome to Stein's Strategic Solutions. We don't ask questions. We don't follow rules. We make the rules. With our expertise, we bring about the unseen, the forgotten, the dangerous. What you don't know, we know. What you fear, we control. We strike when least expected, shaping the future, bending it to our will. If you're not watching, we're watching you. Stein Strategic Solutions. Once you enter, there's no turning back.